Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our 5th annual Possum event. Please give me a wave if you can hear me. Beautiful, nice to see you, Chris. Nice to see you, Emma. Thanks for turning your screens on, guys. It's lovely to see quite a few of you. Hi, Joyce. Nice to see you too. If anyone else would love to pop your screen on, we'd love to see you all. It's really wonderful to interact virtually. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land from where we are streaming today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations. We pay our respects to elders past, present and future, and welcome all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to our health service. My name is Jacinta. I'm a registered nurse and I have the pleasure of caring for patients throughout their journey at St Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne. I will be your MC for today's event. Our annual Possum, which stands for Patients of St Vincent's Surgical Unit, Melbourne, event brings together persons who have been affected by pancreatic, liver, esophageal and gastric cancer. It is wonderful to see many familiar faces in the crowd, new returning patients and their families, as well as community groups, support members, members of research, allied health, medical and surgical teams. The challenges of this year have highlighted the importance of community in overcoming barriers to provide the best care for patients and their families throughout their journey at St Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne. Today, we are delighted to connect with you virtually, a platform that has become very important in therapeutic relationships and care. That being said, not without its challenges. As you navigate your way onto Zoom today, we kindly request that you keep yourselves on mute so that our speakers may be heard clearly. If you accidentally unmute yourselves, don't worry, our team are here to help out. And thank you very much to my team here in the background who are helping to ensure that today runs smoothly. They will be monitoring the chat box, so please enter your questions here for our speakers. We'll have a period for questions and answers at the conclusion of the event. Now, our lovely event organisers, Lynn and Lily, have arranged a door prize for the first person who entered virtually. The door prize is a lovely little Christmas candle that you'll see here. So Lynn and Lily, who is our winner of the door prize?
Leanne Nguyen.
Leanne?
Leanne Nguyen.
Leanne Nguyen. So congratulations, Leanne. We will contact you later to organise for this cute little ornament to be sent out to you. Before we get stuck into today's presentations, I would like to introduce a member of our surgical team, Luke Bradshaw. I'll pass over to you now, Luke.
Thanks, Jacinta. Hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear. It's a real pleasure to be here in what's the 5th year running of Possum, and I'd like to congratulate Lynn, Lily and her team for all their work in putting together today's events. And I think it's important to further congratulate both Lynn and Mary Ann who have continued to nurture the program from its beginnings and continue to guide it as it continues to evolve. So to introduce myself, I'm a hepatobiliary surgeon, having returned from fellowships in Sydney and in Leeds in the UK. And last year was certainly an interesting year to be in the UK. And I've joined the unit in April. Well, I've actually rejoined it. In 2018, I was the fellow on the unit, and it's really nice to see some familiar faces logged on. This is now the 3rd time I've returned to St V's, having been a medical student, intern and resident here, then came back as a fellow and now coming back as hopefully a grown-up surgeon. And it always feels like home coming back to St V's. The sense of family and community remains strong, even in these really weird and odd times. It's the sense of community and family that is no better exemplified than by Possum. The program was inspired by the National Cancer Survivorship Program in the UK, which aims to ensure that those living with and beyond cancer receive the care and support that they need to live as healthy and active life as possible for as long as possible. Possum maintains an active link between patients, caregivers, and the health providers to keep communication open and offer individualised support. And that is crucial because everyone's journey is unique. What works for one person may completely miss the mark for the other. Likewise, there may be something common to all that us as healthcare providers haven't realised, haven't looked at, haven't understood, where we can change the standard of care to benefit all. So I'd like to ask the experts, I'd like to put it back to you, the survivors, what would you want? What would you change? Remember back to those early moments. Maybe you don't want to remember back to them, but those scan results, discussing the operation for the first time, that first dose of chemo. What advice would you give yourself now? And now, how could Possum help get this advice to you? Please enjoy the speakers today, and remember that everyone's experience and suggestion will help Possum to continue to evolve. Thanks for the opportunity to have a quick chat.
Thank you, Luke. It was really interesting to hear about the history of Possum. And I think that's a fantastic question to put out there. How can we help patients in the future from cancer survivors themselves? So thank you very much, Luke, and thank you for telling us about your journey to become a grown-up surgeon. So I'm going to hand over to our first speaker for today, who may be a familiar face to many of you. And I'm very excited to introduce Dr. Melissa Moore, one of our excellence oncologists at St Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne.
Thanks very Good morning to you all. My name is Joyce and I'm the site coordinator for Care Plus at St Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne. I'm here today to introduce to you the Care Plus service. And so my presentation will entail the objectives of Care Plus, the reasons why we're offering the service at St Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne, and what patients and caregivers can expect from Care Plus. Please note the terms family and caregiver are used interchangeably during my presentation to describe all persons related and non-related who provide direct care and support to people with cancer. So what is Care Plus? Care Plus is an extra level of support provided to patients living with cancer and their families. The main objectives of the Care Plus service is to ensure patients live life the way they want and live it well. Additionally, Care Plus aims to provide appropriate supports as required, and consequently, the service is led by the unique priorities of each patient and their family. Please note, Care Plus is in addition to the usual care received from the patient's treating team. So why is Care Plus being offered at St Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne? Global research, and this is over 30 studies, have shown that patients living with cancer who receive a similar service like Care Plus have better overall outcomes. And importantly, these outcomes extend to the family caregiver. This research has shown that patients have improved and or fewer physical and emotional symptoms, have reduced ED admissions, and spend less time in hospital compared to patients who do not receive a service like Care Plus. Additionally, the research shows that patients report improved satisfaction with their care and support provided by their treating team, and report an improved overall quality of life. One of the main focuses of the Care Plus is to help family address their unmet needs and overcome challenges they face. Research shows that more than 50% of families report anxiety and inadequate assistance as they seek to provide support to their loved one living with cancer. These families additionally report a preference for more information about their loved one's illness, its course, and future more broadly in order to plan and make decisions accordingly. Consequently, for caregivers who receive Care Plus, research has shown that they have had significant reduction in carer stress. Families have also reported better understanding of their loved one's illness, have had improved satisfaction with the care and support provided to themselves and their loved one, and also have had an improved overall quality of life. At St Vincent's, Care Plus initially rolled out in February of last year, and specifically for patients diagnosed with hepatocellular carcinoma, a specific type of liver cancer. By the end of December 2020, the service was extended to patients living with pancreatic cancer, esophageal gastric cancer, multiple myeloma, and diffused large B-cell lymphoma. Currently, a total of 51 patients have received Care Plus at St Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne, since its inception. The Care Plus team at St Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne consists of specialist doctors and nurses who are within the palliative care department and are specifically interested in providing this extra level of support to patients living with cancer and their families. The Care Plus team are experts in symptom management, in coordinating and communicating care plans among all providers and across different settings, working in partnership with the patient's primary physician, and in providing a holistic approach to care. The Care Plus team can involve additional trained healthcare providers to respond to unique needs of the patient and their family. After joining Care Plus, the patient will attend their first appointment at a specialist clinic where an initial discussion of their needs, challenges, and priorities, and those of their carer, will take place. Over the next 2 follow-up appointments, the Care Plus team, in discussion with the patient and their family, will continue to assess and address their current needs and priorities. These needs and priorities may be relieving symptoms that may arise, such as pain and anxiety, providing support and education, such as discussing goals and priorities of the patient and family, and ensuring these important values are reflected in care, and facilitating services beyond treatment, such as equipment aids, household cleaning, and helping to link to other beneficial services and healthcare providers. Myself and Dr. Jennifer Wheel, palliative care physician and Deputy Director of Palliative Medicine at St Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne, will be available during the Q&A segment at the end of this webinar to answer any questions you may have. Otherwise, please email myself or the PalCare Consult team on the email shown on the screen, or please visit the Care Plus website at www.careplusau.org. Before I conclude, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Lynn Chong and Paula Swannock for allowing me to talk to you all about Care Plus. Thank you.
Thank you very much for Joyce for that recording. It's really wonderful to hear about the extra services available to our patients. Our next speaker is Rita from Carer Gateway, and Rita is new to Possum. Rita has some fabulous information for your friends and family who have been working alongside you during the treatment journey. I'm very excited to welcome Rita.
Thanks, Jacinta. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's enjoying this lovely morning tea. My name is Rita, and I'm from the Carer Gateway Mary Health. At the Carer Gateway, carers are our central focus. So a carer is defined as someone who provides unpaid support to a family member, a friend, or a partner with a disability, mental illness, chronic health issue, or an age-related condition. Carer Gateway is a national program and it's funded by the Australian government. The Carer Gateway delivers new, improved and expanded services to carers across Australia. These services include counselling, peer support, emergency and planned respite and coaching. In Victoria, these services are provided by a group of 7 health and social support providers, which is led by Mary Health. These providers include Alfred Health, Barwon Health, Ballarat Health Services, Bendigo Healthcare Group, Family Care, and Uniting Victoria Tasmania. In Victoria, the Carer Gateway services are provided at many sites and locations, including metropolitan Melbourne and regional areas. So this means that the person that the carer talks to knows what supports and services are available in their area. You can access Carer Gateway by calling 1800 433 737 or visiting our website carergateway.gov.au. A short video will now be played, which will talk more about Carer Gateway, and it will show you carers that have accessed our services and they share their experience with the Carer Gateway. So if we can please play that video.
Time has been a real challenge. I find it really hard sometimes to find a balance between me time and caring time. I think deep down in my core, I always knew that I was in a caring role, but there was also this pushback and resistance around wanting to identify as a carer. I just kind of embraced it, I guess. I just went from family member to, yes, I do need support, and yes, I can access support, and yes, life doesn't have to be so hard.
Often people come to us without knowing what support is available to them. They're battling through, doing the best they can, and we know that carers often put themselves last. And when they reach out, it's nice to be able to work with them, identify where they can have some support and live a normal life again.
The harder thing is to be there 24/7. At times it can get a bit exhausting. When you talk to somebody else who's a professional, they can give you more information about things. It can help you, it can broaden your mind and thinking.
The thing that the Carer Gateway does best is we really work with the needs of the individual carer, because all carers have such different needs and different circumstances.
For me specifically, it's being a carer to a young, very active 4.5-year-old boy.
So this is your first experience of being a carer?
Yes. Sorry. But yes. Obviously working from home, I had to conduct all my work as well as teach my other child, but as well as look after Andrew. And Uniting knew that added an extra layer of pressure. So they got in contact with me and offered to engage some more supports and services to carry me through some certainly challenging periods.
It is hard sometimes to ask for help because carers tend to think, I don't need help, I don't need support. We eventually got NDIS for my son, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't got that support. And the positive changes is that now my son can go away, and I feel that's benefited us.
Carers are resilient. We are not trying to prop them up, we're trying to plug in some gaps.
The Carer Gateway is a Commonwealth funded program. The Carer Gateway provides a unique role. We are the gateway to supports for all carers. It's a one single entry point across Victoria, which makes it really easy for people to access the service.
The Carer Gateway can help with resources for financial support, it can help with counselling, it can help with managing your life, and that's what I found amazing.
I've been able to talk to people who understand, who have been able to give advice and be there knowing where to start, and that's literally picking up the phone, make the call because you've got nothing to lose.
So I hope everyone now is a little more familiar with Carer Gateway and the services we offer and how we can help carers in their caring role. So as I mentioned before, please feel free to reach out to us and visit our website for more information. I just wanted to say thank you to the organisers for inviting me to speak at this event.
Rita, thank you so much. That was fantastic. It's really lovely to hear that there's resources out there for carers, and especially resources that are specific to the area that they live in. I think that's fantastic. Now, you'll all have to apologise. I have accidentally written down the number incorrectly. It is 422, not 433. So if you do need to get in contact with Carer Gateway, just be aware of that one. Next, I would like to introduce one of your fellow possums, Jennifer. Jennifer is one of our patients, but is also a fantastic yoga instructor and is here to tell us more about her journey. I am so privileged to invite Jennifer.
Yeah. Here we are. Thank you, Jacinta. Thank you so much for inviting me. The whole Possum, this program sounds like a wonderful thing. It's wonderful to see so many people here this morning and so many professional speakers, and I feel a little bit overwhelmed because my talk is not so professionally presented, but I'm here raw as I am, so that's all I can do. My story began at the start of 2020, really when COVID started to begin for us, and I actually was diagnosed with esophageal cancer, and always been very fit in my life. So having something like this turn up in my life, in fact, I hardly went to a doctor, was interesting, but obviously early detection was absolute paramount importance. And I was lucky to sense that, and I went and I was actually going to a naturopath, and he sort of suggested that, maybe you better go and see a doctor about that. And we did, and all of the things that we went into, everything happened so quickly. And as COVID became more real, so did my cancer. So being diagnosed with that was, as many people who've had a diagnosis know, that it's pretty devastating in your life. But really what I found was dealing with whatever was presented to me, dealing with that as it came. And adaptability was probably my mantra. You know, whatever happened, all I could do was what was presented in front of me. So after dealing with the shock, I was lucky enough to have a huge support with my family. And as I said, COVID started to hit. So we weren't able to see our family as often. And what we did was we put a WhatsApp together for family. And it wasn't just for me, it was for the family thing, but it gave us things, and we did challenges. And while I was going through the chemo, that was a wonderful thing to have that connection with my family, to present those challenges each week, you know, just as fun, doing fun things. And that was really important. I also my family made a playlist for me, which I took in with me when I was doing the radiotherapy, and they put that on while I was having that, which was wonderful. The personalised treatment that I got from, all of the carers, all of the healthcare workers were wonderful. I found that fantastic. But really accepting whatever was, and all that I could do in that moment was to call in a team. I called in a naturopath, I had an acupuncturist, I had also a pranic healer, which I found fabulous, because in my belief, we're not just this physical body. We're more than our physical, we're more than our mind, we're more than our emotions, we're this energetic being. So I did a lot of, and I didn't have the strength to do it for myself. I do some pranic healing myself through my yoga and what have you, but I just got some other people to do that for me. And it was absolutely fantastic for me. That was very important to me. One thing that was another really important thing for me, actually for my family, is I gave them a white flag. And you'll excuse me if I get a bit emotional, but I believe that cancer isn't an excuse for me to behave badly. And I know, and a lot of you might know that as you have this diagnosis, you don't know how much time you've got. Everything seems more important for you to say to your family, and you might be a little bit more abrasive or a bit more frank about things. So I asked them, I said, I'm going to give you a white flag, because if I get too abrasive, you need to tell me. You don't not say you've hurt me or this is too much for me just because I've got cancer. So that was important that I gave my family that, because I didn't want to leave a devastation of them just because they couldn't talk to me, thinking I had this illness or this condition. Anyway, that was something that I found really important. So I went into surgery in August at the height of COVID, and yes, couldn't have anyone close to me. My husband couldn't even walk me into the hospital, and I was there for 12 days. But I am a sort of fairly resilient person and quite like quiet, so I found it actually a time to be still and be quiet and just really nurture myself. And the nurses and other people that I talked to in patients, was wonderful to have that contact. But I mean, I had FaceTime, so I was able to monitor and see people when I wanted to, and not have to come up when people visited me, just to sort of lift myself when I wasn't feeling up to it. But coming home, in the hospital, I had strategies. Straight after my my surgery, first thing was deep breathe. Breathing deeply, connect to my diaphragm, make sure that I'm here and I'm present, and get more into my body, even though I didn't want to be in my body. You know what it's like? You don't actually want to be experiencing what you're experiencing, but really connecting to be, you know, as helpful to my body as I possibly could. And I had my playlists and things, and I had chants, I had gentle music, I had my earphones in constantly, just calming and settling myself and creating my own experience. Actually, that's one thing I always said. I didn't listen to a lot of people's stories about their cancers before, because I wanted to create my own experience. And I knew if I listened to too many other stories, I would be influenced by that. So, and in the hospital, I remember Marianne saying to me beforehand that, you know, you're going to have a slice here and a slice there. You probably won't be able to lift your elbow above your shoulder for at least a month, maybe. I got out of surgery and I'm like, I'm not sure what she's talking about. That was my, you know, I suppose, being fit. I'm not sure, maybe my mentality of it, but I wanted to move as quickly as possible. So in hospital, I was doing some Qigong. Qigong is basically like the Chinese version of yoga. It's much more gentle, however. So it's flowing movements, and I was finding a place somewhere in the hospital where I could go quietly and just move my body and steady and calm myself and nurture my body. You know, it was really important to nurture my body. I would also do things like radiate healing energy into my body, to my organs, connect to my organs, because I knew they were going through a hard time. It's not just myself, my consciousness is going through a hard time. It's my physical body, my organs. And so I did a lot of work on that. And that was important to me. And I think, you know, what everyone's journey is different, and what your beliefs is different, and whatever works for you is the thing you should do. So coming back home was an adjustment, of course. I had a JEG tube in for more weeks than I really wanted to have, because having baths and things was something I really loved to do. Until I got that out, I couldn't do that. So, you know, that was a bit of an adjustment, but I just really patient with my body, having, you know, generally a very healthy body, it was hard to have my body not function and as easily as what it had before. But I kept that vision of, yes, I'm going to keep moving, I'm going to keep achieving something every day, every little thing that I could do. I would walk a lot. I did lots of walking, even in my chemotherapy. When I was doing chemotherapy, I would walk every morning if I could with my husband. So keeping that fresh, you know, keeping myself fresh by getting up and having purpose was important. And then, you know, crash in the afternoon and allow myself that. Netflix got a good time in my healing, but yeah, I just really find that being kind to yourself is one of the best things you can do. And really connecting to my energy and wanting, you know, my energy was low, so I would do things that would help to stimulate my energy, which I would actually share with you a little bit later, won't be long, and we'll do something together. If you wouldn't mind joining me with that, that would be great. As I said, if I couldn't walk with my husband after about 3 weeks after my surgery, I was walking. If I couldn't keep up with him, I said, you go for your walk. I would do a bit of Qigong by the lake, which was a beautiful thing to send to me to calm my energy and just to feel grounded. And actually, Qigong and yoga allows you to see the beauty in the day, beauty in your life, the beauty of the people around you, and the joy of, you know, what is around you. And even amongst the challenges and the tragedy and the despair that you may be feeling. But I think, as I asked my husband, I said, look, what did you think? I was asking him about this. And I said, what do you think? What's something profound that you think that I did or that I could share with people? And he said, really, it's probably your positivity, keeping positive. And I asked my son, I said, you know, how did you manage getting through that? And he said, Mum, really, he said, the way that you went through it, the way that your attitude towards it. And I don't think I ever felt cancer was, I didn't ever feel like a victim, because I suppose I'm very lucky. I know I'm very lucky at this point, having a very, a good diagnosis and prognosis is what I mean. And so that helped me to stay positive. You know, I'm very aware of how blessed I am. So eating well, of course, I'd spend time out in the garden. And now, 14 months later, since my op, I'm as Jacinta was saying, that I am a yoga instructor. I wouldn't say I was an expert yoga instructor. I'm just me. But I was conducting Zooms by March this year, and I realized how important that was. In January, I didn't know if I would be able to do that again. I didn't know if I had the energy for it, but slowly my energy would come back, and then it lulled. So I just allow whatever's happening, you know. And then in June, I started to create some live classes. And COVID actually been really good to me, because I've been able to not do classes over that time without the guilt of going, I'm not teaching my people classes, they're missing out. They weren't doing anything. They were dealing with their own things. For me, that was like, I wasn't the only thing that was going on, you know, so that was good. I would rather be in the background. And now I'm running classes to my choice, and able to do so much more now. And I don't know what's going to, you know, I don't know what the future holds. I really don't know. And I think none of us know, because, yeah, your life is a gift, isn't it? It's not a guarantee. So all we can do is in this moment and create our experiences as most beneficial from this moment as we can. And again, I talk about, you know, seeing the beauty in your day, and try and appreciate every day as it comes. So now I'd like for you to, if you wouldn't mind, sharing just a couple of little things with me, and doing a couple of things with me, if you wouldn't mind. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is give your arms a little shake, sit up nice and tall. And it's good to move, you know, you guys are sitting around and doing, give your shoulders a little shake up and down, and just do what you can. And if you've got any injuries and scars and things, and that's difficult for you, just, yeah. And the lovely thing I love about shaking, I actually love standing up and shaking the whole body. I think that's fantastic. It helps you to shake off some, shit of the day. Just shake it off, like the dogs, and the dogs will show you that. So, and it's very difficult not to smile when you're doing it. So bounce around a little bit. Okay, now take an inhale breath and take your arms up as high as you can manage, and take a big breath in like you're embracing your day. And as you exhale, use your mouth open and out. You're going to do 3 of those. Inhale. Whatever's going on, I just want you to feel like you're collecting yourself, and you're just sending it down. Calming, settling, centering, and settling in. One more time. And it's basically you just bringing yourself into yourself. And then let your hands rest on your thighs, especially if you're sitting. Let your hands rest on your thighs, and notice your hands on your thighs. Take some nice deep breaths into the belly. And it's very difficult sometimes to breathe when you're in fight and flight, because you'll tend to want to breathe in the upper part of the body. But connecting to your diaphragm and trying to breathe towards your abdomen will help you to ground and connect to your rest and digest, your parasympathetic system. And that will help you calm your mind and bring yourself more into your intuitive self. Not so much the thinking brain. Come down into the intuitive self, into the body, and notice how you're feeling now. Then we're going to do some tapping. We're going to use the tips of our fingers, and we're going to tap here underneath the collarbone. And this is a kidney point, kidney 27, I mean, as far as traditional Chinese medicine goes. And this is connecting to our energy, our vital energy. And I like to use the affirmation. I am courageous and vital. And breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. I am courageous and vital. And then we go to the thymus gland here, the thymus gland, which helps us to support our immune system. We stimulate that, we wake it up. This is a great thing to do every day. I'm healthy and resilient. You can say that to yourself. I'm healthy and resilient. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Then we come to a spleen point. I'll just stand up a little bit. It's just under here. Basically, nipple line out a little bit wider on your rib cage. So it helps you to stimulate all your experiences. And I like to use the affirmation. You don't have to use the affirmations, but I like to use them and just sharing them with you. I nourish myself with love. And especially if you've been through, you know, surgery and chemo, the spleen gets a really rough ride. And it helps to assimilate and take the essence of our food and nourish it through the body. I nourish myself with love. And then we come to these points underneath the eyes, and there's a stomach point again. If you've had any stomach cancer and surgery in that part, these parts have had a hard time, but the stomach and spleen are the earth elements in the body, and they help to ground. So breathing in out through the mouth, I trust in the process of life. And that's not always easy to do when you're in a state of, you know, chemotherapy and surgery and cancer. But we have to trust in whatever it is we're doing and whatever we're going through. I trust in the process of life. And we'll shake that off. And just let your hands rest again on your thighs. And I want you just to notice how your body is feeling. Try to let go of what your mind might be thinking and distracted. Come into the body and what sensations are you feeling in the body now? Let yourself feel heavy. Let you feel no awareness to your feet and just notice. Breathing in and breathing out and just letting that breath flow. Notice if you're breathing up high, can you breathe down to your abdomen? One more thing we're gonna, and I'll have to stand up to do this. You can do it on your, where you are, you don't have to stand up. I'm going to stand one knee, hand to knee. This is working on the brain in a homolateral. We're working homolaterally, the way the brain works. And then we're going to go opposites, and this is working contralaterally, getting the brain to work crisscrosses. The way the energies work crisscrosses forward and across. See your DNA. You can do that on the, you can just do it sitting, that's fine. And taking a few deep breaths, this helps the brain work left and right. And breathe, connect brain to belly, and breathe down to the belly. And we'll sigh out again. Letting go of or noticing the way the diaphragm works underneath the rib cage. Letting go of stress and tension. And maybe you can't let go of the stress and tension, but you just notice it. And then hands, both hands to the belly. We observe how the body is feeling. We honor it. Whether it's feeling crappy, we say, oh, I've noticed I'm feeling crappy. I'm feeling grounded. I'm feeling flaky. I'm feeling angry. We just honor all those feelings and sensations, and instead of denying them, and just notice them in the body. Relax the jaw, relax the face. And then just open your eyes and notice how different you may be feeling compared to when you tried those exercises. And if they help an inkling, then I suggest that you try that. Do that for yourself every day. Do it. I didn't send it to Lynn. I'm sorry, she asked me for some links and things, but there's a lady on YouTube that I watch. She's a Qigong, and there's a really good link, and she does that daily exercise, and she has little explanations of why to do it. So I can give that to Lynn if it's helpful. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that that was helpful to you. And it's just thinking about things differently, that we're not just this physical body, that we're much more than that. And we can help ourselves and empower ourselves at any given day. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I hope it was helpful, and I feel very honoured to be asked. So blessings to all of you, and I hope you are well and happy. Thank you.
Jen, thank you so much. That was absolutely delightful. Well, that was a surprise. Bear with us, everyone, with our few technical issues that we have had today. I think I might move on to our next speaker now. So up next is a cooking demonstration from Dom Wilton from Hector's Deli. Dom has managed to squeeze in some time out of his busy schedule to share a very quick, easy and delicious recipe with you all.
Hello, I'm Henry Badgery. I'm a surgical registrar at St Vincent's Hospital. Welcome to the first cooking segment of the Possum. We have here Dominic Wilton of Hector's Deli fame, a well-known chef who's cooked at all sorts of restaurants all over Melbourne and the world. And he's going to show us a dead simple and delicious and nutritious dish for you all to enjoy.
Cool. We're making kale pasta. So this is good. This is good if you've got no time, if you want to get a whole lot of nutrition out of only a few ingredients and you don't want to eat a whole raw head of kale. So boiling water's on. First we want to take a salted. That's salted. Yeah. You want to take a whole head of kale. So that would look originally like that. So you want to make sure that you're peeling the kale off the stalks, like so, because when we go to blitz the kale, that's going to taste crap. Kale goes in the water.
How long is that going there for?
We're going to put that in there for about 2 minutes, I would say, just to get rid of the kind of green stemminess, make it a little palatable. So as that, just make sure that's totally submerged. But as that's cooking, right now you would grate your cheese. We have probably like 30 grams of Parmesan grated, ready to go. As soon as the kale comes out of the water, we're going to cook our orecchiette,
which is?
Orecchiette is the little pasta shaped like ears. There it is. Delicious. So yeah, it's pretty much dead simple from there. Just have some butter ready, maybe like half a cup of walnuts, a little bit of salt, the juice from half a lemon, and the Parmesan. But in the meantime, we can get everything in the blender. Can you make sure that's on?
I think it's on. So all the Parmesan's going in?
All the Parmesan grated again, all the walnuts in. A good whack of salt. Maybe like 2 pinches.
And we're cooking for how many?
This will serve from like 4 to 6, probably. Yep. Yeah. So if you can get, I know you can't have a close-up, can you? But you can see this is like vibrant green now, because it's been blanched. So you don't want to be too precious with draining this. We don't want to get too much water in there, but the wet kale is going to help it blitz. If I had some regular sized tongs, it might be easy, but I'm working with the kiddie tongs.
It's a sufficient kitchen.
Everything in.
So kale's a dark leafy green, very high in iron. So it's a good one to eat plenty of.
Alright, Henry, if you want to close that up, in the same pot that you cooked the kale,
we're pulsing this.
Pardon me?
We're pulsing this.
So don't start that just yet. What we're going to do is we're going to put our pasta in. Pasta's going to go in for like 10 minutes usually till about al dente. There's around about
100 grams a person.
100 grams a person to work.
Right away.
Yeah. Give that a little stir. And then we're going to turn this on. So we're going to make kind of a a silky sauce that we're going to toss the pasta in at the end. It can be a bit chunky, that's nice, but just make sure when you're doing it in a food processor that you've got a little area at the top where you can pour the oil to kind of emulsify it as it goes. If you add too much oil in at the start, you'll find you get like a kind of split mixture, gluggy mixture, yeah. So you want to turn that on?
Yep.
Whoa! Right, so we're going to take, I'm going to say about 150 mils of olive oil, and just pour that in as it goes. You can leave it on. So you're just going to sort of trust that this is going to come together. Right, next trick is to get a spoon and just add in, let's call it 4 tablespoons of pasta water.
And what's so special about pasta water?
So the pasta water has the starch that has released from the pasta, and that's just going to help it, help the silky sauce combine. So I've got 5 tablespoons in there. Give that a crank. Get a processor that works.
So I reckon pasta's just about cooked.
All right, pasta's cooked. The great thing about this recipe is that this is going to be messy no matter what I do. You can make this green sludge
pesto,
like
surely.
days in advance. You know, and you can keep this in your fridge. And anytime you want to add it, I mean, you can add this to anything. Like, it's beautiful on pork, it's delicious on toast, it's great with eggs. You could add green chili to it if you wanted to spice it up a little bit. But anyway, it's just a good condiment to have in the fridge. Pasta's cooked, we're going to put it in a bowl. This is how we're going to toss our pasta. Strainer. So, and again, I'm not being too precious with how much pasta water goes in here. A little bit of pasta water is nice, it kind of lubricates it. And again, like releases the starch, that important starch that kind of brings it all together, makes it silky. So pasta's in. Juice from half a lemon goes in. Important. Then we're going to put a whack of butter in. I don't want to ruin your nice knife.
No.
There we go. So, I don't know. I don't think we're using weights of butter. You know, if you're a careful person, don't eat as much as I do, but, you know, put all that in. So give that a little toss, just to get the butter melting a little bit. The hot pasta will do its job. Then we're going to add in, so I've got I didn't have as much pasta as I wanted, but I've probably got around 200 grams in there, so I'm going to add half of the sauce. So, adding that, a little bit more than half. And then you're just going to toss it. This part, it's really important that even when the pasta is coated, that we keep tossing it and keep rigorously moving it around, because again, that will release all the starch and it will bring the sauce and the pasta together.
I think a lot of people skip this step.
This is the most important step. And I've worked at some pretty serious pasta restaurants, and let me tell you, the difference between seriously good pasta and average pasta where the pasta is separate from the sauce is adding in pasta water, some fat, some acidity to emulsify, and giving it a seriously good toss before you serve it.
Chemistry.
All right, so that should be looking like that in your bowl. Am I too close? There we are. Yum. So how I do it at home, everything goes into a big share bowl like that. Then more cheese. That gets grated on top. I mean, again, you don't need to be as extra as I am. You can probably hold off the cheese if you're on a diet, but this pasta is super simple and relies on creaminess and acidity. They're the two things that you want from it.
What's an amazing recipe, Dom? Simple, straightforward, few ingredients, economical. Can't wait to try it.
Delicious. Last thing is crack a black pepper all over the top. Then get some high quality extra virgin olive oil. Finish it off with a little bit of that. And that is kale pesto orecchiette.
Bene.
Bene.
Wow. Okay. Oh. Put it down. Excellent. Well, that looked delicious. Thank you so much, Dom, for showing us through how to cook a kale pasta. I certainly agree eating kale raw is not yum, but it looked delicious. Although Dom wasn't able to attend with us live today, we certainly thank him a lot for our video. I also wonder if a little bit of protein powder and maybe some Benifiber could be good for our patients just to up the protein. Also be sending us through the recipe card for that wonderful recipe. So thank you again for organising that. That was fantastic. I'd like to now take the time to remind you all that Paula is our cancer nurse at St Vincent's, and she's the best contact for any questions or concerns, no matter how big or small. Paula, do you want to give us a wave there on your screen? Fantastic. I hope you can all see Paula there. So Paula's details, Lynn and Lily will send through to you. I believe they're about to come up on the screen. There we go. So if you do have any questions, please give Paula a call or send her an email. I'd like to now hand over to Mary Ann Johnson, one of our upper GI surgeons, who's going to say a few words.
Good morning. I hope you all can hear me. So it's great to see so many attendees here online today. And we've had some great talks, starting with Luke Bradshaw, who's one of our new surgeons who's joined the team. Melissa Moore's talk on COVID, the Care Plus, knowing more about what they offer, our possums, and Rita's talk on Carer Gateway. And I'd really like to thank Jen Scandalera for sharing such a personal and honest description of her journey so far. And I really do like the phrase and like to share it with the rest of my patients, is being kind to yourself during your journey. And also the very achievable yoga exercises which can be done in the chair, and it can be for all. So as always, we're always happy to take any questions from the patients, and whether that be here in the forum today or through Paula, as us as surgeons can be difficult to contact sometimes. Thank you, Jacinta.
Thank you very much, Marianne. Now, as Marianne alluded to, we do have some time for questions now. So if you'd like to raise your hand, or better yet, pop your question in your chat box. But to get started, we had a question earlier for Jen. So Jen, do you do online classes?
I'd like to tell you that I do, but at the moment I don't. I did it through COVID, yes, but at the moment, and that may change, but right now I'm doing mostly live. So yeah.
Excellent, thanks Jen. We'll make sure that we do share your details with everyone a little bit later as well. Excellent. Now, I do have a question for the surgeons, so I'm interested to hear what you think about this. But Jennifer did mention the importance of exercise for herself in her journey. So I'm really interested about the research around how exercise can help to enhance your recovery. But any surgeons online who'd like to answer that? Anyone who's involved in the Enhanced Recovery Program? Am I going to have to start diving people in now to answer that question?
Thanks, Jacinta. Great question. It's Michael here. I'm one of the esophagogastric surgeons on the unit. And it's a bit of a Dorothy Dixer, I know, but as you're aware, our unit's really passionate about the importance of activity and physical exercise in preparing for surgery and also recovering from surgery. And Arathi, you can also see online today, she's our project officer who's specifically involved in running our project, which looks at how exercise can improve recovery after this kind of really pretty extensive and aggressive surgery, which I'm sure you'll all agree. At the moment, there's no real streamlined pathway for people to be involved in exercise early after surgery. So we're very hopeful that with our project, and hopefully we'll get this to complete relatively soon, even though we've had a lot of holdups due to COVID. Hopefully that'll be a pathway and some evidence for where we can start to use exercise more as kind of mainstream therapy for all people recovering from major surgery.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Michael. Does anyone else have any questions that they'd like to throw out there for the team to answer? No. Joyce, did you have anything else that you'd like to add to your talk or any other comments?
No, I think they all came through in the video despite the technical issues. But just basically, Care Plus is a service of extra level support provided to patients with cancer and their carer, and more information can be found on that website. That was at the last slide on the presentation.
Excellent. Thank you, Joyce. Now, I believe Simon's raised his hand. Simon?
Thanks very much, Jacinta. Just a comment first, and that is, this meeting really raises to us that it's more than just surgery, of course, for the individual patient, but also important for patients, carers and family. And that's extremely important, and we appreciate greatly the support that we get from our whole team. Surgery's a short part of the journey, part of a long journey, and becomes less important over time, and we thank you very much. The second question is really addressed to Melissa, and that is, it's a very logistical question, and that is, how does COVID vaccination fit in with chemotherapy? Obviously, vaccination requires an immune response, so how do we fit in that immune response when patients are on chemotherapy?
Thanks, Simon. That's a great question. So in an ideal world, I guess we would, if we know someone's about to start chemotherapy and hasn't had a vaccination, we'd encourage them to get that before they actually started their course of chemo. If they're already on chemotherapy, then ideally we would time it, I guess, sort of just before a cycle is due. We know that chemotherapy potentially does influence the immune response, the antibody response that you mount. But if it's a choice between, a bit of a response and not having a vaccine at all, we would always choose to go ahead with vaccination. And I just also want to add in regards to the booster, the third dose vaccinations, if you were having chemotherapy when you had your first and second doses, even if you're not on chemotherapy now, then you should still put your hand up for a booster dose.
And Melissa, while I've got you online, can I just ask you what the silent effect of COVID is from the screening program and the effect that it might have had on the early detection of various cancers, particularly, I guess, breast cancer and colorectal cancer?
Yeah, so Simon, we know that there's very good data that there has been a lower uptake of those sort of screening testing, things like breast cancer, as you mentioned, and there was some data in the media recently about melanoma and people not coming for their routine skin checks. I know at the moment with COVID cases in hospital, there are people that are very reluctant to present to emergency or come into hospital. And I can understand that hesitancy, but I think if you're unwell in the community and need medical care, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us or come into hospital, and still try and maintain your screening tests as much as you possibly can, because we know that early detection of any sort of cancer helps us achieve a higher chance of curing you of that cancer. But it has been a problem throughout lockdowns and COVID, Simon. That's a really good point.
Thank you, Melissa and Simon. Some really important questions there. If there's no other questions, I might move on to a very exciting part of our morning today, and that is our raffle. So Henry, who was delightful in running us through that presentation for the recipe, is going to help me out now with the raffle. Henry?
Yep. Hello, yes, we have the raffle tickets here. I'm Henry. So there are 3 draws. Without further ado, I'll draw the first ticket. So I'll mix them up. Ticket number 1, brace yourselves. Drum roll, please. F71, Terence Anderson. Congratulations. Round of applause. What's the prize, Lynn?
Congratulations, Terence. You have won an amazing pack from Shopping Online, which includes some wonderful Kerastase products, a little scrunchie in there as well, and a couple of body products in a beautiful little bag. Congratulations.
Well done. So, draw number 2. Drum roll, please. We have F73, Dirks. Dirks?
Gary Dirks.
Gary Dirks. Well done, Gary. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Gary. You have won a $50 Woolworths voucher. Congratulations.
Very good. Now, round number 3. Drum roll, please. We've got
kitchen accessory pack and some lovely looking soap. So congratulations there.
lovely. And thank you to everyone who bought a ticket. We appreciate the support.
Excellent. Congratulations to all of our raffle winners. We will be in contact with you to send out your prizes. And as Henry said, thank you to everyone who did purchase a raffle ticket. All of the proceeds go directly to furthering our hepatobiliary and upper gastrointestinal cancer research here at St Vincent's. If you are interested in finding out more or supporting us further with our cancer research, please go to the Surgeons Impact Fund website, which is on your screen right now, to learn about how you can donate. And with that, we do come to a close for our Possum 2021. Apologies for the technical issues delay from the no sound to a few times of auto tune. Hopefully next year, though, we'll be able to see you all face to face. And thank you very much for tuning in today. Thank you to all of our supporters, all of the donations for the raffle prizes this year. And a massive thank you to all of our speakers. Some fantastic presentations. And in my time here, I'd have to say it just keeps getting better and better every year. And a massive thank you to everyone who made the effort this morning to come and join us for a cup of tea. We really appreciate your support. Until next year.